In this video, we'll be taking a look at 2 college football games happening on October 11, 2023 and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 2 picks for each game, 4 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 2 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start, if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. UTEP versus Florida International. The UTEP Miners pay a visit to South Florida and Ricardo Silva Stadium on Wednesday for a Conference USA showdown with the Florida International Panthers. UTEP was defeated by Louisiana Tech 24-10 in its most recent game and has lost 4 straight. UTEP's only victory this season was versus Incarnate, where 28-14. Florida International was defeated by New Mexico State 34-17 in its most recent game, and the Panthers have lost 2 straight, which follows a 3-game winning streak. UTEP will play without Judah Ezenwa, Trez Moore, Marcus Bellin, and Aaron Dumas. Florida International will play without Lexington Joseph. UTEP was hoping to have a good season so far this season, but that hasn't been the case. Coming into this game, they sit with a 1-5 record overall, and they are coming off a loss in the last game. The offense only scored 10 points against Louisiana Tech, and that led to the 14-point defeat. One big issue for UTEP is injuries, especially to the quarterback position, and in the last game, he completed 4 of his 11 passes for 48 yards. UTEP is averaging 16 points while their defense is giving up 28 points per game. Quarterbacks Gavin Hardson, Kevin Hurley, and Jake McNamara are all questionable for this game. Florida International comes into this game with a 3-3 record overall, but they are coming off a very disappointing loss. Florida International only scored 17 points against New Mexico State, and that led to the defeat. Keon Jenkins completed 25 of his 32 passes for 250 yards, 2 interceptions, and 0 touchdowns. Florida International is averaging 21 points while their defense is giving up 27 points per game. The offense is ranked 114 TTH while the defense is ranked 79th. Keon Jenkins has thrown for 1,258 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. It is Wednesday, and that means Conference USA midweek football. And this one will be as odd as you could hope for on a Wednesday night, as UTEP travels to Miami to play Florida International. Neither team has a conference win yet, and it is very possible that both teams will be missing their starting quarterbacks. This game has ugly written all over it. Florida International starting quarterback Keon Jenkins left last week's game with a concussion, and clearing concussion protocols on a short week is difficult to do. The UTEP quarterback Gavin Hardison last played on September 23rd. It is unclear whether he will suit up on Wednesday either, and if he doesn't go, the Miners are likely down to the 4th-string quarterback because of other injuries. Yikes, neither of these teams is very good, even with their starting quarterbacks. The UTEP offense has been quite harmless all season long, and I expect more of that this week, especially if it is obvious that they are unable to throw the ball. Florida International actually played even with New Mexico State on the road last week through 3 quarters, and then they fell apart in the 4th. The Panthers come into the game relatively healthy, and while they are below average on both sides of the ball, they don't hurt themselves with turnovers. UTEP comes into this game ranked just 131st in turnover differential this season. That number will undoubtedly rise this week given the current quarterback situation heading into Wednesday's game. Head coach Dimmel admitted that they don't know who's going to play in regard to Wednesday's game. With 2 quarterbacks in concussion protocol and his starter nursing an arm injury, it very well could be redshirt freshman McNamara making his first career start on the road. He will be matched up against a marginal Florida International defense, but a defense that does stiffen up in the red zone. Florida International is at home, where it's had its best success this season, and UTEP hasn't won on the road since October 1st of last year. The UTEP Miners are also 130th in scoring offense and 119th in rush defense, 2 things unlikely to change on the road. I think Florida International is pretty clearly the better team, yet they opened as 6.5-point underdogs. The line has moved improved steadily all week, and now the Panthers are slim favorites at home. I think the market movement is correct in this case, but keep an eye on the quarterback situation for each team before kickoff if teams tip their hands at all. This is a must-win game if Florida International is going to make a push toward a bowl appearance. We're not being asked to lay anything crazy, so the Florida International Panthers to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. UTEP comes into this game having gone under the listed game total in 4 out of 6 games thus far this season. Florida International has gone 3-5 to 1 to the under as well in the first 6 games. On a short week with likely yet another first-time starter at quarterback, UTEP will be hard-pressed to put up big numbers offensively. They will likely look to pound the ball against the porous Florida International run defense and slow this game down to a crawl. Florida International may welcome the slow pace as well given the Panthers' own difficulties to score points this season. The total has finished under in 4 of UTEP's last 6 and in 7 of the last 8 that UTEP has played in Week 7. The total has finished under in 4 of Florida International's last 6 and in 6 of the last 8 that Florida Internationals played during the month of October. As mentioned previously, UTEP is scoring an average of only 16 points per game, which is higher than just 3 other teams in the nation, while Florida International is scoring an average of only 21 points per game, which is higher than just 18 other teams in the nation. This will be a grinded-out game for both teams and will likely be decided by turnovers and field position. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Sam Houston State versus New Mexico State. The Sam Houston Bearcats have been brutal this season as they are 0-5 thus far and are coming off a 21-16 road loss on Thursday against the Liberty Flames. Senior quarterback Keegan Shoemaker had one of his best games to date as he went 2-7 of 4-1 for 255 yards with 2 touchdowns and an interception as well as 7 rushes for 52 yards. The New Mexico State Aggies have been doing a decent job throughout the year as they are currently 3-3 so far and are coming off a 34-17 home win over the Florida International Panthers on Wednesday. Junior quarterback Diego Pavia had a strong showing as he finished 2-0 of 3-1 for 256 yards with 2 touchdown passes and an interception while also having 11 rushing attempts for 46 yards with a rushing touchdown. The Bearcats had some tricky matchups in their first 3 games this year and had trouble finding the scoreboard. Sam Houston lost to Brigham Young University 14-0, Air Force 13-3, and Houston 38-7 in that opening trio. Game 4 versus Jacksonville State was a better effort, but still a loss 35-28 in overtime. Bearcats' Keegan Shoemaker finished with 285 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick in the defeat. In the Liberty matchup last week, the Bearcats were up 10-7 after 1 quarter. Sam Houston was outscored 14-6 the rest of the way, however, and lost 21-16. Shoemaker managed 255 yards with 2 touchdowns and an interception, and also led the rush with 52 yards. Noah Smith caught 13 passes for 97 yards to lead the receivers. Over on the Aggies side, they've alternated wins with losses in every game so far. First came a loss to UMass 41-30 in the opener, then a 58-21 blowout win over Western Illinois. After a loss 33-17 to Liberty, the Aggies took out New Mexico 27-17 before losing to Hawaii 20-17. New Mexico State Diego Pavia threw for 155 yards and 2 scores in the loss at Clarence Ching Athletics Complex. New Mexico State clawed their way back to .500 on the year with a 34-17 win over Florida International last Wednesday. The Aggies finished off with a 17-0 advantage in the 4th quarter. Pavia had 256 yards with 2 touchdowns and an interception in the victory, and Jordan Parker led the receivers with a 49-yard touchdown catch. Almont Watkins paced the rush on 89 yards from 5 carries. New Mexico State's explosive ground game will be tough to slow down, as Sam Houston has struggled against the run all season. The dual-threat quarterback Pavia will have another productive day, using the run to open up the passing game. He takes care of the football, too, which will allow the Aggies to win the turnover and time of possession battles. The Bearcats will have a lot of trouble running the football against the Aggies defense, which is also adept at getting after the quarterback. Low-scoring Sam Houston is not in the business of trading points with a team like New Mexico State. The difference is on 3rd down as Sam Houston is 1-9 of 7-4 on 3rd down, while New Mexico State is 2-4 of 5-6 in those situations. When looking at the defenses of these teams lately, there is a bit of a difference as the Bearcats are allowing 31 points in their last 3 games, while the Aggies are giving up 22 points in their previous 4 games. So the New Mexico State Aggies to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Aggies will get their ground game going early and won't slow down later in the game. The Bearcats surrendered nearly 200 rushing yards last game and now must face a New Mexico State offense that scored 34 points on 439 total yards last week. New Mexico State should have its way with the Sam Houston defense, which doesn't pressure the quarterback or create takeaways enough to slow down competent offenses. I'm worried that the Aggies will be able to limit the Bearcats all game, especially if the score gets out of hand. New Mexico State was vulnerable against the pass once again last week and will allow Sam Houston State to score at least once through the air on Wednesday. Like the Bearcats, the Aggies only have 2 interceptions this season as well. These teams are not extremely known to score the football, but recently they are going to put up points, as Sam Houston is averaging 22 points in their last 2 games, while New Mexico State is scoring 26 points in their previous 3 games. Both defenses allow too many rushing yards, so the chains are going to continuously moving, as we touched upon earlier. Expect Shoemaker and Pavia to put up big games in this matchup and find the end zone a good amount. The over has hit in 2 of the last 3 Sam Houston State games, as well as in 5 of the previous 6 New Mexico State home games. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.